Good evening, everyone. Today is day 82 of my 90-day video blog challenge. My name is Latoya, and for those of you who've been watching, you know what I do on days where I can't figure out a topic to talk about. I do a word of the day, or I'll read some of a story that I wrote. So today I'm going to do both. So my disclaimer, for those of you who know me, I did not make up this word. This is a real word, and it's from the Merriam-Webster.com. Website, and this was their word of the day for today, April 22nd, 2014. 22nd, yes, 22nd. So the word is cock-a-hoop. Okay, so cock-a-hoop means triumphantly boastful, exulting, awry. So the example is, the driver's pit crew was cock-a-hoop as they watched her cross the finish line to victory. Cock-a-hoop. Very interesting word. And again, I didn't make that up, even though it does kind of go together. Cock-a-hoop. But anyway, so the short story I'm about to read is called His First Run. It's not completed. And just reading through it a little bit, I noticed I do have a lot of editing to do with it. So bear with me on that. And if you know anything about people who write, our writing is our babies. So yeah, be kind, but I do like your input, your thoughts on it. And again, it's not finished. I'm not exactly sure what else, how I'm gonna change it or where the story completely going, but in any case, it is what it is. So this is again his first run. So all right, here it goes. The sirens blared in his ears as they rolled to the accident scene. He didn't know what to expect. He just started his internship as a medic for the fire department's ambulance service. They were on their way to a pileup on the interstate, and they had no idea how many people were involved. Peter sat in the back of the ambulance across from Roger. He could feel his body inflate with adrenaline. He wanted to be an EMT for the past 5 years, and now here he was. "You okay, man?" Roger asked. "Yeah," Peter said, sweat beading up on his forehead and butterflies in his stomach. "I remember my first run. It was a drunk driver. He ran his Corvette into a tree that fell on the car. Lucky for him, the car broke right over the driver's side, so he was okay," Roger said. Peter sat there listening, wondering what kind of scene they were headed to. Would there be people trapped or dead bodies everywhere? He tried not to let his imagination get carried away. "Don't worry, it won't be that bad," Roger said to Peter's anguished look. "We're almost there. Get ready to move," the driver Dave said. "Grab your house kit and suit. And remember your trainer," Roger said. Peter nodded. "Okay." It was only a 5-minute ride, but to Peter it was a lifetime. They arrived at the closed-off freeway, to some people wandering around, cops trying to calm the storm of anger, and other paramedics working. "How's it look?" Roger asked Dave. "Chaotic but safe," Dave answered, getting out of the car. Roger and Peter jumped out with their house kits in hand. "You stocked up, right?" Roger asked, pointing to Peter's kit. "Huh? Oh, my bag. House kit. Yeah," Peter asked, overwhelmed by the sight. Peter never saw so much happening at one time. They did simulations in school, but nothing like the real thing. He scanned the situation, trying to remember everything he learned. "Who's in charge?" Dave asked the nearest EMT. "He is," the guy responded to the man in the center directing people. "Where we needed at?" Dave asked. "We have a couple of guys treating minor injuries over there on the shoulder, but there's a lady in a car over there that needs assistance," the guy said. She was rear-ended and smashed into another car before hitting the median. The guy finished to Dave, pointing towards the banged-up tourist. "You two are needed over there," he said, indicating the van turned on its side. "There's a guy trapped inside. He's conscious, the last I checked, but we need to get him out of there. I'll be over there if you need me," he said, pointing to a limp body being pulled out of the Camry. Roger and Peter headed for the van. People rushed by in blurs as they made their way to the van. Somewhere in the distance, Peter heard a woman's voice, and as her words caught up to his ears, he understood her to be the man's wife. "Let me go, that's my husband," she was saying. "Ma'am, please let him get out of there and let the medics treat you," the cop argued back to her. Peter looked over his shoulder and saw Dave was in full assessment with his victim, and he felt he never gets to that comfortable. He was trying to figure out what he was supposed to be done first as he and Roger made their way to the van, which was flipped on its side. And just as they moved around to the bottom of the van, Peter stopped. There was dark red fluid oozing from the van. Is that blood? Peter asked. No, it's transmission fluid, Roger said, chuckling. But good job checking your surroundings. He walked around to the roof of the van, and as he passed the front, he saw it was smashed into the driver's seat. The fireman was on top trying to get the door open, and at the sight of the van, Peter was taken back 5 years. He was working an overnight shift at Target, stocking his shelves and unloading the tree. He didn't get off until 4 in the morning, and it was about 4:30 when it happened. He was 2 blocks from home. What's the situation? Roger yelled up to the fireman, bringing Peter back to the present. He's pinned in. The dashboard got pushed back to his lap, with the steering wheel smashing into him. I'm trying to get the door off, but it's not working, the fireman replied. Stand back, I'm going to break the windshield, the fireman next to Roger warned. The fireman on top dropped a blanket down over the man to protect him from the glass, and Fireman Dawson, who was standing next to Roger, put his axe to work on the windshield, and in a few minutes yanked it out. Sir, can you hear me? Roger asked from the open window. Sir, can you hear me? Roger asked louder. Yes, the man said in a faint whisper. What is your name? Roger asked the guy. The guy was silent. He keeps going in and out. I'm Steve, by the way, the fireman said, jumping down. I can't get the door off from up there. He's lodged in pretty tight, Steve said. We could use the jaws to cut the roof off. Maybe we could use them to cut away the dash if we can get in there, Donaldson suggested. We'll give you some guys some time to do your thing while we figure things out, Steve said, as Dawson and he walked away. All right, now's as good of a time as any to get started, Roger said, turning to Peter. Get in there and do an assessment. Peter froze. He was back in time again, and he could see the bright lights coming up fast. He tried to swerve to the right out of the way, but it was too late. The other car was going too fast. Everything was blacked out, but somewhere, someone was talking to him. The sound was so far away, it seemed like the voice was coming from the light. You going up there or not? Roger said impatiently. Yeah, sorry, Peter said, moving forward. You sure you up for this? Roger asked, holding him back with his hand. Yeah, I'm good, Peter lied. Okay. So that's it with the story. Okay. I know I'm gonna be my worst critic. I know I will, but it needs some work to me because I know it says I'm reading. It's like some details I need to be put in there. It's a lot of editing I need to do because I swear I felt like I read Peter's name like 42 times in the short 5 pages. But in any case, it is a piece of work, and I'm not exactly sure where it's going because that's the thing. Sometimes when you write, you don't know where it ends, but it is what it is. So, yeah, so leave your opinions. Let me know what you think. And that's it for tonight. So it's day 82. Tomorrow will be 83. So I have 7 days left. Counting tomorrow. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, now I'm looking at this. This time is going by pretty quick. So it's like a week left. That's it. Yeah. And then I'm done. But in any case, we'll get to that point when we do. So you guys have a good night, and I will talk to you tomorrow. And like always, thanks for watching.